Nothing like running harder in the weekend, only to have things get a little out of hand. Welcome back, guys, to this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. And this week, we've got a special one because we're going to do a little bit of a weekend recap. That's right, we just had Memorial Day weekend, and we talked about Memorial Day and holiday weekends in the last episode, and I figure we might as well go ahead and look back at some of the things that happened over the last weekend, and maybe some of the other things you may have seen out on the water as people were trying to knock the rust off and kind of get back into the habits. And it seems like a lot of people forgot a lot of things. Some people may have forgotten how to back their vehicle down the ramp. Fortunately, though, for most people, there's always somebody down there at the ramp willing to help out, and of course there's always somebody down at the ramp willing to record that help.
He said something to him.
Well, he should.
I think I said something.
You can't do that. Oh, they're arguing now.
And of course, I'm sure a few of us ran into a few of these people who forgot ramp etiquette over the weekend as well. You can tell when somebody forgot ramp etiquette when they go and drop their inflatable down at the ramp, take 30 minutes trying to fill it up, but even a child recognizes it's wrong.
This guy is so stupid.
For some of us, this past Memorial Day weekend may have been our first time out on the water in a long time, and we may have forgotten some of the intricacies about boating on our local waters. Maybe we forgot that we've got to watch the tide to be able to get through the bridge to get to our local fishing spot, and maybe we forgot that's not the only way to go.
So they just went under that, and there is an opening to go under right there.
And then there's sometimes where we'll forget about our local sandbars. Don't worry though, you'll probably run into them and remember where they are. And then of course there's the sandbars you do know about. Sometimes we just forget how we're supposed to get on and off of those.
Oh,
they're putting the engines down. Oh, they just put the motors down. Oh my God, they just put the motors down.
And who could forget about the sweet, glorious boat ramp? Of course, there's going to be things we forget as we start getting back into our routine down at the boat ramp. Like maybe you forgot the boat goes in first. Or maybe you forgot exactly how to retrieve the boat. You got to get back down to your basics sometimes. Make yourself a little checklist so you know exactly what all is going on. Like this crew here, they probably could start their checklist off with closing the hood of the truck. And of course, it's not impossible that some of us forgot the basics before we even got to the boat ramp. Maybe we forgot how to get our vessel out of the garage. And don't worry, I know this looks brutal, but they actually wind up being okay here. And maybe some of us forgot how to tie everything down properly as we make our way down to the boat ramp, which can make just for a dangerous situation.
Boneheaded Boaters of the Week.
And of course, if we're figuring out as we knock the rust off that we've forgotten some of the most basic techniques, we've definitely forgotten some of the more advanced ones, such as anchoring. Kind of like can be seen here, where you kind of just get things mixed up a little bit and you get the lines crossed. And of course, for many of us, this was the first time we were back out in a boat in a while, and of course we were experiencing heavier crowds than normal due to it being a holiday weekend, and some of us just may have forgotten how exactly to handle our vessel when we're in tight quarters like this. And speaking of being in tight quarters, oh, how about docking? Of course, one of everybody's favorite parts of boating is bringing that sweet baby right up to the dock and showing her off, but some people took that a little bit to extremes this past weekend. This definitely seems to be one of the ones that people struggle with the most, especially after taking some time off of boating. You kind of forget how to check the currents, the wind, and everything that's going on. All the things that you spent all last summer perfecting will feel like they've kind of washed to the wayside. But don't worry, it's like riding a bicycle. Over time, you'll absolutely get your skills back and you'll be back to a professional docker. As the boating season continues and we start getting back into our ways, everybody's vulnerable to making mistakes, including myself.
And here I am doing the walk of shame. That's right, I too am a boneheaded boater. Last night, while driving my friend's boat, I hit a log. It was semi-submerged, but we had passed several earlier in the day. And common sense tells me after it's dark that I only want to go as fast as I don't want to hit something. And I was going about 18 or 20 miles an hour when I probably should have been doing idle speed, and a semi-submerged log popped up, but fortunately I'm not seeing any damage and we missed the outboard and we should be good. But still, lesson learned. Always remember, never go any faster than you want to hit anything after dark, especially in an area where there's submerged logs.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening in your waterways, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram and let me know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like Ryan Froze, R. Yeagle, Austin Bales, Katie Dixon, Jeff Piddlecow, Tara Atkinson, Corey Clare, Justin McCarthy, James the Captain, and Not a Secret Profile did this week. And if you haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here. If not, I'm coming to steal your drain plug.